Hello again from Warehouse and Operations as a Career. I'm Marty, and I'm so glad that you could stop in and visit for a bit with us today as we discuss the interview process. Last week we put our resume together and hit the street with them, so let's get ready for those phone calls and interviews. Oh, and I just had a quick thought. Let's talk a moment about our social media. Now, I may not agree with the practice, but we need to remember that our social media may be looked at by anyone at any time, possibly by prospective employers. So think about those pictures, those posts, things that we've shared or things that others have shared with us. We write so much on our pages and sites these days. Whether it defines us as individuals or should be even used by the public will be decided by the courts in history one day. But for now, we need to remember it's out there, and it's probably going to be looked at by people that they don't know us really well. You're looking for a job, or you're looking to change jobs, or possibly seeking a long-term career change, and we've just asked a lot of people to look at us as individuals. We don't know what all they're going to be looked at. I'm just saying it's one of those things I'd think about. Okay, today a lot of companies and agencies are utilizing the phone interview as a first step, so it's really important that we're prepared and ready for those calls. Should you get a call from a recruiter and cannot freely speak to them at the moment, I feel it's perfectly all right and proper to ask that you return their call shortly. That you're unavailable at this moment, but very interested in speaking with them. Ask if there's a particular time you should call them back, or if it would be okay to return the call in just a few minutes. You probably need to be in a quiet setting with time to answer their questions and a clear mind to interject the points that you want to get across to them. Let's review a few possible questions that they may have for us. We'll use our buddy Jeff the character's resume that we created last week as a quick example. The conversation could go something like this. Hi Jeffrey, my name is John. I see that you've been in the restaurant industry for about 3 years. Could you run me through a day in the life of Mr. Character? If you could, just an average day from your present or last position. Certainly, John. Please feel free to call me Jeff. Up until this month, I was working at whatever restaurant, and although I was a waiter in the front of the building, I would handle all the food, the produce, and disposables deliveries coming in through the back door. I was responsible for verifying the correct counts, checked the quality, and was responsible for catching any damages and stocking of the product and putting it away. At the end of the shift, I would clean all the front areas and mop down all the back. As you've probably noticed, John, I'm very interested in changing jobs and responsibilities. I've kind of reached my goals here, and I really don't want to pursue a career in food prep or cooking. I'm a really quick learner, and I hate to be idle. That's actually one of the reasons my boss gave me the deliveries to do. I really like that part of my job, handling the product, moving the boxes around, taking care of all that. At this point, John may ask something like, so Jeffrey, why did you leave whatever restaurant? We could add something like, well, like I said, I had reached as high as I could go there, and I really wanted more hours and more money. So I gave my notice and started looking for a warehousing job. And John, I'm really willing to do anything, kind of start anywhere. Something that John may ask next of us is what type of equipment have we used before? This is where Jeff needs to really show his enthusiasm by saying something like, I used a hand truck or dolly to move product to store dry storage and cooler vaults. I would stack pallets outside after unloading and stocking the product or storing it. I really liked working with the boxes and stocking. I know I can pick it up quick and will make a good worker. I show up to work every day and follow directions. I want to learn new things all the time. Now, between what our resume says and the things that we just shared with John, we may just hear something like, something along the lines of, Jeff, what shifts are you looking for? Are you available any day of the week? And this is where we need to be a little bit careful. This could be a question to test our commitment with this new job that we're asking for. I'd answer with something like, since I'm wanting a day position, but more importantly, I'm wanting to get a warehouse job so I can start learning, things like the equipment and the talk and everything, and how a warehouse works. Remember, this may not be our career job. Possibly we're just using it to obtain our overall objective. I'd say something like, John, I'd take anything. I'd prefer something Monday through Friday on first shift, but I'll work any shift any day if that's what it takes, sir. At this point, I believe we'd hear something like, Jeff, could you come in tomorrow for an interview? Now this brings up something I hear about all the time. I've heard that people, they call a company or an agency for a job, and then they're called for the phone interview, and then try to put the interview off until the beginning of next week. Now, we all make plans daily, and by no means am I saying it's impolite or negative to say no to an interview, but let's be sure to give the reason too. Remember, the recruiter is actively lining up interviews with people. If they bring in 4 people on a Thursday or a Friday, odds are that someone is going to start work on Monday. We've asked them to see us, and this is our opportunity to convince them that they need us and can count on us as an employee. I think we should look at the interview as our first day on the job. You wouldn't be late or not show up for your first day on the job, right? Let's go on to the interview real quick. Yes, you're going to be a bit anxious and you're going to feel a pretty good amount of pressure. It's all normal and it's perfectly fine. You're out of your day-to-day program, but you can control the situation, and to be honest, it's pretty easy to do. I mean, who knows more about you than you? Keep everything honest and point out all your strengths. Be ready to discuss your weaknesses, and you've got this. You've spent the last few days or weeks writing everything pertaining to our work history. It's fresh on our minds, and we're more than prepared to talk about ourselves just about any given time, right? Ease up on yourself, breathe deep, and just think, okay, let's do this. I'd show up at least about 7 minutes early. Sounds pretty odd, but being punctual is very important. This will give us time to get checked in, see a receptionist, or get to the person that we have an appointment with. Just as we should be to work early every day, the same holds true for our first day of work, which very well may be the interview today. Now, we're being interviewed for an operations job, probably not in an office environment, so I'm not suggesting that we dress in our Sunday best, but do dress nicely, clean and impressive like. I personally see nothing wrong with jeans and a regular shirt. Not any derogatory t-shirts, skull and bone sweats, or especially shorts. Wear proper footwear too. That's very important, not flip-flops. If you're applying for an environment where steel toes, may be required, and you've got them, go ahead and wear them. It may just mean something to whom you're speaking with. Now, when we sit down with the recruiter, he or she's going to have several documents with them, something like our application, possibly several pages of onboarding paperwork, maybe some benefit pamphlets, stuff like that. It's just paper. It's going to look overwhelming, but it's just a stack of paper. Breathe deeply again, and let's, just think, let's get started. One of the most important things is be sure to greet the interviewer. Smile and be at ease with yourself. They're going to probably review the phone interview if we had one. If not, they're going to ask us about our resume or our work history. Be honest, they've probably already done a reference check or verified some of the information that we've already provided. So be sure while we're speaking to the past that you make sure they understand your ideal of the future also. Especially if you're changing careers or this is your first warehouse position. That's very, very important. Let them know what you're wanting to do. If you're applying for a general labor or utility position, all they're really looking for is, are you truly interested in the position? Assure them that you're looking for full-time work, that you'll be on time every day, and that you understand the importance of this position. Be very, very positive, assertive with your skills, and the skills that you're willing or wanting really, and that you'll learn everything there is to know about the position. Do all this well, and I feel like the job will be yours right then and there. Now, if you have some warehousing experience with some equipment, and you're looking to move into that next position, then stress those experiences that you've had. Discuss why you're ready and what your goals are. Remember to keep it honest, though. Their questions will probably reveal any weaknesses in our history, especially regarding equipment usage anyway. As we've learned, experience is the only way to enter the production world where the equipment's going to be used. Again, be confident in everything you're saying. be positive about your abilities, and talk about your goals. When all this is done well, I have to think you're 90% there. We need to remember now, many people may be applying for our position. Experience will come into play with the decisions, but that's not the only determining factor. Remember, us as individuals, or the personality that we present, is at least 60% of what they're looking for, in my opinion. Be that positive, confident, interesting individual that they're certain will make a great employee. Now, you may have noticed we spent a little less time discussing the actual interview than we did with the resume and phone interview. The face-to-face interview itself is usually just to confirm what can be seen on paper. The resume and phone interview are the important pieces within this whole process. It sounds like we just nailed those, hence you're here for the face-to-face. Okay, let's say that we've aced the interview and we've got the job, so now let's talk about being hired. Really understand everything that you're being told while you're there, with the interviewer. If you have questions, be sure to ask them. Everything from your I-9, W-2, W-4 benefits, welcome packets, what all else may be there, policies and procedures, rules, insurance, all that's really important. Your direct deposit, pay cards, and the timekeeping system are your responsibility. Make sure that you understand them. Yes, we're really excited that we got the job, but let's consider this consider the orientation our first assignment. As we'll learn in the coming weeks, our orientation will help us feel comfortable and welcomed in our new position. You've done great, have the position you wanted, and others are excited that you're part of the team. You're on your way to success. Now it's really up to you where you go from here. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion and feel like it may help you in one way or another. Please send any questions or thoughts to me, and I'll try to get us some answers to discuss on an upcoming show. It's so great to see the questions and comments coming in. I'm learning something each week, and hope that we're helping you in some way as well. Next week, let's start digging into a few of the actual positions that we're interested in. How about some, let's say, utility and general labor positions? Maybe something like sanitation and unloading. Two tasks that in many instances can expose us to some equipment opportunities that we may be seeking. And with that knowledge, the sky's really the limit. Thanks again. I hope to speak with you again next week. Have a great week, and let's all think safe this month.